Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to a very special episode of Nerdy for 30. This is the hype train. We are getting pumped up for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. We are so excited for this one, so excited that we wanted to release a podcast just to talk through what we've seen so far from trailers, what some of the rumors are, what we personally expect and want to see from this movie. It's gonna be a blast. However, when we're talking about upcoming movies, there's always a risk that there are going to be spoilers. So we have a very special system in place that we've created just to make sure that you don't hear anything that you don't want to hear. Here's how it's going to work. We've structured the episode so that we go from least potentially spoilery to most spoilery. So throughout the episode, I'm going to give you a couple chances to leave. Before we say anything that might push you into territory you don't want to know about, I'm going to give you a heads up. You can drop off, no harm, no foul, leave us a 5-star review. We're all good. We don't know what's happening in this movie, and a lot of the rumors about Spider-Man turned out to be false. So if you do want to keep going, do want to keep getting hype, you can join in with us in speculating what the fuck might be going on. Tim, are you ready to get started?
I'm excited, Kevin. You're giving me Jeff Probst vibes. I don't know if you've been keeping up with the latest season of Survivor, but now he does this thing where he talks to the camera and he tells everybody how hyped he is for this next challenge and like explains the rules, maybe a little too much, like directly to the audience. And I love it. This is like fourth wall breaking. Kevin's in the zone. Let's do this, man. I'm hyped. Get the train going. Choo choo, baby. Choo choo.
And hey, Jeff Probst style, when we're talking about challenges, we're talking about the production history of Doctor Strange 2. The original director, Scott Derrickson, who helmed the first one, ended up leaving a couple years ago. This movie has also had a ton of reshoots, like a ton. You know, usually reshoots aren't a great sign, but in this case, we can maybe chalk it up to the pandemic. Another thing that's potentially a red flag is the fact that they're not doing early screenings, which means there's no advance reviews. Usually a movie studio restricts early screenings when they know they have a dog on their hands, but Marvel also restricted early screenings with Avengers Endgame just to prevent spoilers. So it could mean that the movie is really bad and they're not happy with it, or it could mean this movie is huge and explosive. There's a lot of great stuff coming out of it. They just don't want people to find out too early. But what I want to know is, Tim, what do you want out of this movie? As a moviegoer who has loved the Marvel Cinematic Universe, presented with this movie that has the potential to change everything, what are you looking for? What do you want to get out of it?
I want to be done with the multiverse. I'm ready to wrap it up. I'm ready to move on.
I was drinking, man. Christ in heaven.
I think we get it. Everyone's done a multiverse, but Everything Everywhere All at Once now has done a multiverse thing. Rick and Morty's been doing it for years. We got Spider-Man do the multiverse thing, and obviously The Flash is going to crush it. So like, why are we still doing multiverses? I don't need any more multiverses. They're confusing. It's all kind of bullshit. We got that cartoon that was all multiverse stuff. I don't like it. I don't like the idea of it. It's too big. It's too much, too fast. I hope this is the end. I hope this is the end of the multiverse.
I texted you earlier that I needed you to prepare one sentence, which was what you wanted out of the movie, and you replied instantly, done. And now I know why.
There's things in it I don't love with the multiverse stuff, but I think there's going to be enough like good old fashioned Marvel superhero shit that I just love, man. I just love heroes being heroes. I love Marvel being Marvel. I want some guys I know, some faces I recognize beating the crap out of each other. And I think we're going to get it, Kevin. I think this is going to be like a quintessential good old Marvel movie. And I'm excited.
It's so funny you say that because the first stop that I want to put in place is here.
The next stop is...
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be talking about the trailer for the movie and the poster for the movie. If you don't want to know any things that are already completely visible on the poster or in the trailer, this is your chance to leave now.
Bye.
Are you still with us? All right. Let's talk about the poster and the trailer. I want to start with the poster. There's a part of the poster where it's like fractured glass, and in one of the shards, you can see Captain Carter's shield. Captain Carter, obviously, for people that watch the What If cartoon on Disney Plus, is an alternate universe version of Peggy Carter who took the super soldier serum instead of Steve Rogers. This was something that had been rumored that she was going to be in this movie. It's one of those rumors that came out of nowhere. And then when the official poster came out and Captain Carter's shield was in one of the shards, it was instantly like, oh shit, yeah, this looks like it's actually going to happen.
Yeah. If that's the way they're going with it, man, I guess I'm wondering if Peggy Carter shows up. I guess I'm thinking that the cartoon ruined that for me. I don't know. I think if she'd just shown up in this movie, I would have lost my shit.
Yeah, sure. I think that's completely fair. In that trailer, too, everybody seemed convinced that the Doctor Strange that we saw that seemed to be evil was quote unquote Doctor Strange Supreme from What If. I never bought that shit. It doesn't seem like he's the big villain of the movie. It seems like maybe he's from a possible future that Doctor Strange is seeing where things didn't work out well for him. And it's kind of like a Ghost of Christmas future situation. I don't think Doctor Strange Supreme's in it. I think quote unquote evil Doctor Strange is something else entirely.
I think that's probably a good bet. Should probably have more faith in Marvel. I don't have faith in their TV stuff, but their movies have been pretty consistent. So maybe I just got to have a little more faith in this, man. I mean, Peggy Carter showing up would be awesome. If they did in live action kind of what they did in the What If series, I think I would be losing my shit.
Yeah.
Especially without the What If series, I'd be going crazy. I'd be losing my mind. With the What If series, I'll still be excited. I mean, I'll still be happy if Captain Carter shows up, but
it lets some of the air out of the balloon.
Yeah.
Oh, man. We also saw in the trailer a character that looks very appealing to me because I love myself a Minotaur. Rintra, who is like an alien Minotaur. I am not familiar with this guy from the comics. He's a green Minotaur who apparently was Doctor Strange's assistant for a while. He looks super fucking cool. I watched an interview with the actor who apparently is voicing him. He sounds like a very polite young British man. So will he be a polite young British Minotaur? We'll see. We also get America Chavez. She is a young Avenger and a member of the Ultimates in the comics, and she has the ability to kick holes in the multiverse. So, pretty obvious character to throw in here. Do you know much about her, Tim? I'm not super familiar with her.
No, I guess not. I thought this isn't Miss Marvel. That's a different character.
No, different character. Yeah.
That name sounds so familiar, and I don't know anything about it. She's kicking holes in the multiverse. I don't know, Kevin. I don't know what that is, but I'm excited to see it. It'll be good, especially if it leads into more like Young Avengers stuff, like more little offshoots. I want a kids team. It'd be great.
We also saw in the Super Bowl trailer, the biggest possible spot for this ad is impossible to miss. The voice of none other than Patrick Stewart, which brings us to stop 2.
The next stop is...
We are going to be talking about something from the comics that could explain why Patrick Stewart is here. If you don't want to know what that is, if you don't want to potentially have the pea stew scene spoiled for you, you want to keep your soup, get out now. 5-star review. Thank you so much for listening.
As you exit, please be careful of the gap between the platform and the train.
But if you want to keep playing, we're going to talk about the Illuminati. Who are the Illuminati? The Illuminati were a group of the smartest people in the world who got together to try to solve some of the giant superhero crises that kept happening. Their goal was to figure out if they could kind of finesse a way to just smooth things over and make sure that they don't ever have to deal with like truly world-ending cataclysmic events ever again. They do tend to change a lot of stuff from the Marvel movies, from how they were in the comics. A lot of the people that are on the main roster of the Illuminati or have been members of the Illuminati over the years in the comics have not yet been introduced in the movies. So there was a quote from somebody involved with the MCU who said that if/when we ever do see the Illuminati, it would probably be reframed so that the members would be people that we are more familiar with based on the MCU so far. Smart move. So who are the smartest people in the MCU that we have seen? Obviously, Tony Stark, Bruce Banner, Shuri. You got Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne. Magically, probably we're talking Doctor Strange and Wong. Maybe the Eternals. Do you think the Eternals would qualify there?
Maybe, right? I guess it kind of depends, right? Like Professor X is another one of those guys. I think there's been a lot of speculation about whether or not this movie is potentially an introduction for those characters. That was almost my one sentence about Doctor Strange is like, I'd love me some mutants, man. I would love to see some X-Men.
I mean, with Patrick Stewart being there, it seems now like it is inevitable. But I mean, unless they're playing us, they pulled this move with WandaVision where they had Evan Peters show up, who played Quicksilver in the Fox movie universe, instead of Aaron Taylor Johnson, who played Quicksilver in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Everybody lost their minds for like 3 weeks, being so excited that we were getting Fox's X-Men in the MCU. That's a mixed bag. There's a lot of good that comes from that. You get Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. You get the beautiful, beautiful portrayal of Magneto by Michael Fassbender. But you also get the movie X-Men Dark Phoenix. You also get the movie X-Men Apocalypse. You get a lot of these movies that were very, very bad. So even though it didn't turn out to be true, I think that was probably for the best.
Outside of the big three you mentioned, there really isn't any need to bring these these people in. The younger, the Michael Fassbender, Professor X, those are the only two people worth keeping, in my opinion, from the other movies, for being honest.
I'm with you. I was just disappointed with the way that they dismissed it. Instead of framing it as Evan Peters just being an alternate dimension version of Quicksilver, they went out of their way to say that this dude's name was Ralph Boner and he lived next door. The Ralph Bonering was a jarringly reprehensible move in my mind. It's like there was something where a fan theory came out about James Bond a couple years ago, and it was like, what if James Bond is a code name? And they dropped all these things that support the idea that James Bond's a code name. It's why he's comfortable telling everybody what his name is, even though he's a secret agent. And the owners of the IP came out and said, that's a really cool idea, but it's not true. And it's like, why did you comment on it? Why would you go out of your way to spoil this great idea someone had on your behalf? Just don't confirm or deny it. Let it exist.
Yeah. Right there with you.
So I'm wondering if Professor X, quote unquote, is actually going to be a Ralph Bonering, and it's going to be Patrick Stewart playing a version of a character we've seen before, whether that is an older Doctor Strange. It could be anybody. He could be anyone in the entire world.
Having him, they know what it means to have him. They know what a big deal Patrick Stewart is. They know exactly what he means to Marvel movie fans. Like, these are not, it's insane to take him. It'd be like having Hugh Jackman come in and just play a tough guy in a bar in a Marvel movie. Like, it would be such a fuck you to everybody to have him in. The context in which we hear his voice in the trailer doesn't make it seem like he's straight up Professor X. Maybe it's an alternate universe Professor X. If we're going to introduce Professor X that way, I don't know if I like that. The thing in the comics that I thought you were going to talk about, I'm glad you talked about the Illuminati, but I thought you were going to talk about more of like the House of M, Scarlet Witch angle, which is, you know, in the comic book universe, the X-Men have existed and existed for a long time. Mutants existed for a long time. One thing leads to another. The Scarlet Witch kind of loses her mind and she utters out the famous words, "No more mutants." And there were thousands and maybe millions at the time, but all the mutants lose their powers except for 198. So she is linked canonically with mutant kind. Her dad is Magneto. Like, there is like, I guess she is a mutant or a combination of a mutant, like canonically, like she is so interwoven with this that I think the speculation around this being the introduction of mutants is fascinating. And it's not a bad idea. I don't think mutanthood is a bad idea in when we're making movies and we're tired of these origin stories. It's a great way to just like kind of get around an origin story, isn't it? I mean, that's kind of why Stan Lee invented the concept, right? Was, you know, I'm tired of coming up with reasons for superpowers. What if they're just born that way? And then you've got this whole thing. So, I mean, I don't know. I think it presents an opportunity for Marvel to go forward and make interesting movies that aren't necessarily all like the kind of generic origin story introduction that we have. Maybe we can brush past that. But I don't know. Maybe that's the unraveling of it. Maybe it's the soft magicification of the Marvel universe.
As if that weren't enough, there's one more big member of the Illuminati that we haven't talked about yet that presents some pretty significant spoiler potential. So I'm going to drop the third and final stopping point for people.
The next stop is
At this point, we're talking about set photos. We're talking about people who have not been announced as being part of this movie, but have been confirmed and seen on the set of this movie in costume.
I don't know if I want to keep listening. I'm going to stop. Kevin's going to go solo for the rest of the pod.
I'll do it, man, if you want me to. I'm not trying to spoil anybody's time. There was actually some kind of a study that was done that said that spoilers increase people's appreciation of the movie when they end up seeing it. But I had spoiled for me that Aunt May died before I saw No Way Home, and I didn't think that increased my enjoyment.
No, I didn't know that was spoiled for you. You did such a good job of keeping it for me. That's good.
No, I didn't tell anybody. I was devastated. It was like the day beforehand. I made the mistake of going on to the Marvel Studios spoiler subreddit. Don't go there. Nobody
That
go
sucks,
there.
dude. Man, I somebody spoiled it for me like minutes before Undertaker lost for the first time at WrestleMania, and I'll never forget that moment. It was really, really devastating.
I would love it if somebody just turned to you in the crowd and said, "Undertaker's gonna lose," and then he did.
You know what it was I was with a bunch of people and I was like, okay, guys, please don't look up anything. Like, I guess we're watching on a delay. For some reason, somebody was running late. We're watching on delay. I don't know what happened, but everybody simultaneously around the room is like Googling wrestling, and just one at a time, they all go, no. And I was like, oh my, come on. There's like only one thing that would garner that reaction. And then just one at a time around the room, people are like, no, my God, I shouldn't have looked. And I'm like, well, fuck you, fuck all of you. How dare you do this to me? It was devastating. And I never watched wrestling again. Anyway, Kevin Bauer, where are we going with this?
At the risk of doing that to fans, we're going to go. All right. Last chance to stop the podcast. I'm going to say it. Last chance.
Also, spoiler alert for WrestleMania 28, I think it was. So, you know, that was years ago, but still.
It's good. It's good to include it. The member of the Illuminati we haven't really talked about yet is Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic of the Fantastic Four. Now, similar to X-Men, Marvel got the rights to the Fantastic Four back after they completed that Fox merger, buyout, whatever you want to call it.
Some excellent films from Fox.
Yeah, true gems. Ever since, people have been speculating about how they were going to end up working the Fantastic Four into the Marvel Universe, because Reed Richards, the Fantastic Four in general, they were Marvel's quote-unquote first family. They are like the emotional core of the Marvel Comics universe, and they've been completely missing up to this point. So it seems strange that they would exist out there somehow and be these incredibly intelligent people, and yet nobody is coming to them for help in any way. The big rumor around it is that Miles Teller, who played Reed Richards in Fant Four Stick, which I've described on this podcast as the worst movie I have ever seen in my entire life, could be playing an evil version of Reed Richards known as the Maker. I've always loved the Maker in the comics. I think he's fascinating. The idea that the smartest person in the world goes evil, it's a blast. There's so much fun to be had with that, to have somebody just decide to turn into Lex Luthor. And the fact that the version of Reed Richards playing the Maker would be the person who played Reed Richards in the worst fucking Fantastic Four movie possible. It's such a great way to steer into the damage. I mean, fucking come on.
I hate it, but I hate that movie. I don't like Miles Teller. I just don't, nothing about that excites me. I don't like the idea of introducing a character by introducing the most evil version of them first, necessarily. Maybe that is a good idea. Do you think that's a good idea? I think then how do you move forward with that character without first thinking of the bad version, right?
I think it works with a very specific take on Mr. Fantastic, where Mr. Fantastic is a fucking asshole. This dude is a jerk. He's brilliant, but he's so focused on his work that he doesn't realize that he is belittling and marginalizing the people closest to him, including his wife, who is just as smart as he is. And they have a history of marital troubles in the comics. Sue Storm is way too good for him.
Yes.
And it's this whole thing where whoever they end up casting as Mr. Fantastic, you can't just go with a fully wholesome person like you normally would. It's got to be a person that seems like they could be pretty emotionally cold. I was so sad that Matt Smith was in Morbius because I think Matt Smith is like perfect to be Mr. Fantastic. He can read really smart, but he can also go real cold real fast. We do have a couple other rumored cameos, though.
Let's go for it.
This is maybe the biggest one that people have talked about of any of the rumored cameos. This is the one that we have the set photo of. Tom Cruise as an alternate universe version of Iron Man. Now, back in the late 90s and early 2000s, when they were first starting to talk about making Marvel movies, Tom Cruise was tapped to play Iron Man. The movie fell apart. He never ended up doing it. He, I think, was talked about when they ended up doing it in 2008. There are photos of Tom Cruise with a goatee on the set of this movie. He could be an alternate universe Doctor Strange. It could be a goofy cameo. He could be in this movie for 15 seconds. Or he could be playing an alternate universe Iron Man.
I don't want Tom Cruise in this movie. Why the fuck would Tom Cruise? Tom Cruise doesn't deserve to be in this movie. What's he going to do? I mean, if he's doing a tiny cameo, there was like Matt Damon, I think, has done a couple of like really tiny cameos like in this. In Marvel. He was like in a play for one, and then there was one for Thor. Was it Matt Damon who's like talking about wiping his ass? Like while Thor is like going to get the hammer. like people have done these little, like the Community cast has done little cameos before. If it's a little cameo, that's fine. I do not want Tom Cruise anywhere near the most iconic character that Marvel has created. I don't want a half-assed version of Robert Downey Jr. I really don't want to reference Iron Man anymore. Like, stop, put it down, walk away from it. I don't like any of this.
Oh, he's going to be on the Illuminati. No question. There's an Iron Man on there.
There has to be an Iron Man on there?
I'm saying it's going to happen. People think that there's a shot in the trailer of like a bunch of energy that looks like it could be Captain Marvel. And very well could be. Some people took freeze frames and said that it looks like it's Maria Rambeau, or other people think that it is Tom Cruise as Superior Iron Man, which is like a storyline where Iron Man was evil.
And they've messed with us before with these trailers, right? There was like the famous like Hulk in the trailer, giant Iron Man suit in the movie.
Yeah.
So they know what they're doing, and they're gonna like mess with us for all this stuff. I guess Tom Cruise is just like a tier of, I guess I just don't genuinely believe that Tom Cruise could come in and like contribute to the Marvel universe.
Sure.
I think he's like too much of a character. He's too big a character. He's too big a goof. It's just a sidetrack. I don't get it. You know, like Paul Rudd is like Paul Rudd in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You're looking around, you're like, okay, there's Rocket the Raccoon, there's Gamora, there's Thor, and then there's Paul Rudd just hanging out with these guys. But because it's Ant-Man, I think it works, and because of like the role he's playing, it works. I don't want Tom Cruise making major decisions on like what's gonna happen in like the world of Marvel. Like, fuck that. I don't know. I'm out on it. I don't want Tom Cruise there. If he's in there for longer than 5 seconds, I'm gonna be bummed.
Here's a couple others. These are other people who were almost cast in Marvel starring roles who are now rumored to be playing alternate universe versions of popular characters.
Oh, I hate this.
First up, John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic.
I'd like that one.
Another one, John Krasinski as Captain America.
I'd be okay with that too.
Brad Pitt Thor. There was a certain point in the late 90s where it looked like the Avengers were going to be on screen, and it was going to be Tom Cruise as Iron Man and Brad Pitt as Thor. And I haven't heard a single person say Brad Pitt Thor. I would love a Brad Pitt Thor in this movie so fucking much.
I love Brad Pitt. He's more in a Tom Cruise category for me. I feel like it'd be like too distracting. It'd be like too much, but God, I would love to see a Brad Pitt. What about a Brad Pitt like Troy style Thor? You know, he was just so good in Troy. I love Troy. Troy's such a fun movie. He's so awesome and such a badass in Troy. There's a world, a younger Brad Pitt would have dominated Thor.
There's another one, Bruce Campbell, who is the star of Evil Dead and Army of Darkness. He's like best friends with Sam Raimi. He's going to be in this movie somewhere. He's in all of Sam Raimi's movies. Sometimes that's just like a cheeky cameo. Like he's the dude that won't let Peter Parker into the theater to see MJ in Spider-Man 2. He was almost cast as Mysterio in Spider-Man 4. So I'm willing to bet. I haven't heard anyone saying this, but I'm willing to bet he's cameoing in this movie as Mysterio from the Tobey Maguire verse.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Any other fun cameos that are going to ruin this movie for me, Kevin?
It's funny you asked, Tim, because I got a game for you.
Oh my God.
This is a list of people who have already played Marvel superheroes in something. And what I want from you is I want you to rank on a scale of 1 to 10 how likely it is that they show up in this movie. You ready to go?
How likely, like from an outside perspective, or how badly I want it?
Give me two numbers. First, give me 1 to 10 how likely it is. Second,
Okay.
give me 1 to 10 how much you would want it to happen.
Okay.
Okay, you ready
Okay.
to play?
I like this. Yes.
All right. First up, Chris Evans as the Human Torch.
Oh my God. It's a 10 for me. It's a man.
I could see this one happening.
I think it's definitely on the positive side, like a 6 or a 7, right?
Okay. All right.
But it's a 10 for me. I would love it.
Michael B. Jordan as the Human Torch.
You know what? Sorry, Chris Evans. No way. No way he's coming. No way he's in it. No way. Because he did the Captain America thing was so beautiful and so sweet. No way we see Robert Downey Jr. again. No way we see Chris Evans again in a Marvel movie. I kind of forgot about that. I would be so happy if I saw his Human Torch, but he can't show up again without people thinking of Captain America. It's like there's 0% chance that he's in it.
I think it'd be a funny joke.
I would love to see it. It would be awesome.
I think it'd be like the Thor 2 cameo where Loki turns into Captain America for a second. I think it'd be something like that, just a joke tossed aside for the audience, and Doctor Strange gives him a weird look, and that's all it is. If anything, I think this is one of the more likely ones of happening, is Chris Evans' Human Torch.
I think it would tarnish the legacy of Captain America in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I think they value that too much. That's what I think. I think Chris Evans personally values that too much. I think there's a 0% chance that happens. I'm going to say also now like a 2 that Michael B. Jordan is in this movie.
So you're tarnishing my hopes of a Chris Evans and Michael B. Jordan Human Torch team up?
I mean, I don't know why you were hoping for this, but it's weird. I'm putting it at a 4. For me, it's low 2, but it's a 4.
Okay.
2 4s for that one.
Next up, Bill Murray as the Human Torch.
Oh.
Pre-SNL.
Oh. Wow.
Pre-SNL, he played the Human Torch in the Fantastic Four radio specials. That was his first big break into show business.
Wow. I think, okay, my take is, what if they do something where he's like animated? If it's a voice, I bet they could do his voice for sure. We might not physically see him on fire, but he could be playing a younger guy or whatever, or an old Human Torch with a voice. They CGI the Human Torch for him. I'm going to put that one at like a 7. And then for me, it's going to be like another 10. I would love to see that. Why not? That's great.
Ben Affleck as Daredevil.
Yes. Oh my God. I want that so bad. I think it doesn't happen, but I want it. I love it. He was amazing.
Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
No,
Not going to happen.
not after Spider-Man. No way.
Eric Bana as the Hulk.
That's good. I think it could happen. I think it totally could happen. I think I don't know if I'd be excited about it. I'm a 5. I think it's like a 6 or a 7 that it happens.
Here's one I think you're going to 10 for. Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
I don't think I think it's the Chris Evans thing of like, I think he views Logan as the end. I think that was the end for it.
Yeah.
And I don't think he would do it again. I just really don't.
Man, it'd be sick if the girl who played Laura in Logan, it'd be sick to get her in this as X-23.
Oh, I would love X-23. I would love another Wolverine, I guess. But I guess this is kind of, man, you're so excited about this. And I feel like I'm coming in with just the wrong energy, Kevin. I just don't need any more of this multiverse stuff. It's like a fun bit. But it's like, do I need to see Hugh Jackman again? Logan wasn't my favorite movie ever. I enjoyed it a lot. It was a great send-off to the character. I don't want to see Hugh Jackman again as Wolverine. I just don't.
Okay.
I don't know if I want to see any of this stuff. You know?
We've got 4 left. And I'm really curious where you fall on these because they're not necessarily as iconic.
Okay.
David Hasselhoff as Nick Fury.
Sure. Yes. Why not?
In on it. Wesley Snipes as Blade.
100% I would do that one.
I lied. That one is iconic.
100% I would do that one. And they should definitely do that one. I think it's insane to do that before we actually get our own Blade. I think there's a 0% chance that happens, but I would love to see it.
Oh, it'd be so sick.
It's a different franchise. It's a different thing. Like there's enough time has passed that's a great cameo. Like that's the quality of cameo we want, right? Like if the first guy who played Reed Richards in the first Fantastic movie, if Jessica Alba shows up as the Invisible Woman, I'm going to be excited.
Oh my God. 2 left. Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider.
Yes. That's another one that's like perfect. Enough time, enough whatever. Ghost Rider. God, but they should do another Ghost Rider movie, dude. Ghost Rider's sweet. Nick Cage is awesome. Like, that'd be cool. That's a good cameo.
Oh, they fucking should. And last but not least, Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool.
Yes. 100% they should. He's in the Marvel universe now. Like, why not have him there? Why not just show him there?
Look at this, man. You said you were all the way out, and I just gave you 4 absolute yeses.
Those are 4 absolute yeses, but yes, no, you're 100% right. Those are, but they're different. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're different. They're separate entities, and referencing an entirely separate entity is very cool. You know, the rest of it feels like incestuous to me, you know? I don't need Chris Evans showing up as another character. What is this, Alabama? We don't need this kind of incest in our house. Get out there, meet new people, expand the bloodline, you know, bring back old flames, do something fun, but like get out of the house, get out of your bubble. You know, why are we tapping the same thing we've been doing this whole time? I don't know. But man, there's some, God, if Wesley Snipes showed up as Blade, I would lose my shit. I'm telling you. Nick Cage as Ghost Rider, I would lose my shit. I'm bummed. If Chris Evans showed up as the Human Torch, I would be so excited, but I don't think it'll happen because man, there is something fun about tapping into these older movies that are separate IP almost. Man, that's fun. Great game, Kevin. That was fun.
Hey, thank you. And you know what? We're getting close to the end here, so I want to wrap it up with one final category called, Wait, what about this stuff? There's 2 big threads that we've seen recently that haven't been followed up on yet, and I don't know what the fuck's going on. First off, in Shang-Chi, what's the deal with Wong and Abomination? What's going on there? We don't see Abomination for like 15 years, and then he just shows up in Shang-Chi doing a fight with Wong, and then they leave together. You think we're seeing what happens there?
I would love to see what happens there. I wonder if we're going to get that or if that's like something else. Is he going to show up with like another team or is it just Abomination? You think he's got his own like secret Avengers that he's working on where like who else would be on that team? Is there anybody else? Man, I'm trying to think of like who else. I think that's a whole fun that we could do a whole separate podcast on team building.
Yeah. The other one, the rings from Shang-Chi. They showed a panel of people convening as the post-credit scene for Shang-Chi. Wong is saying that these things don't match anything in the codex. Bruce Banner says it's not vibranium. He doesn't think it's Chitauri. Captain Marvel hasn't seen these before either. Do you think that is pure Shang-Chi world building? Or do you think that is going to connect to something in this movie?
Man, if Shang-Chi showed up in this, I'd be so happy, man. How cool would that be if Shang-Chi showed up? Man. Oh my God. He's such a good character. I fucking love him. Man, I kind of wish he showed up, but I think it's a Shang-Chi thing. But yeah, but why wouldn't Wong call in the whole team, you know, for this thing?
I don't know.
Maybe it's because it's a supernatural thing and they're doing superhero stuff and you got to have these cosmic powers and Shang-Chi is like much more of an earthbound presence, but yeah, man, I'm in. I'm excited for this movie, dude. I feel like I didn't always make it sound like it, but we're gonna have so much fun watching this thing. I can't wait to talk about it after. This is a great idea, Kevin. I am hyped. I hope everybody else is hyped. Man, got some crazy rumors in this thing.
Everybody, thank you so much for listening. Hopefully we didn't take it to a place where we were saying things that you didn't want to hear. If we did, I deeply apologize. Until the next time we see you, stay hyped
and nerdy. Bye.
Bye.
This is the last stop on this train. Everyone, please leave the train. Thank you for riding with MTA New York City Transit.
Okay, Tim, there's one last thing I want to talk about. A post-credit prediction. What do you think is going to happen What are we going to see next? Do you think we are going to be seeing like a wrap up? Do you think we're going to get fucked over with the trailer like we did for No Way Home? Or do you think we are actually going to see something that throws forward to the next huge thing on the horizon?
No trailer. Definitely has to be something. I think I'm really in on this mutants thing. It sounds like Fantastic Four is more likely, but I think we definitely get an introduction of a character. We get somebody, shooting lasers out of their eyes. We get somebody snapping their fingers and like their hand turns to fire. We get something. We get a teaser that something has changed in this universe. It would be insane too, right? They're having this whole movie around the multiverse. It seems like Doctor Strange is on a quest to fix the multiverse. If he fixes it, or if he gets rid of the madness, or if he does whatever, as we've seen in all these other Marvel movies, there are consequences to your actions. Whatever he does that's going to fix it is going to have an impact on the Marvel timeline. It would be crazy if nothing changed. What's a great way to change it? Introducing new characters, maybe more powers, maybe mutants. We get something. We get an intro here.
Just for the sake of debate, I'm going to go hardline the other way with a reckless piece of speculation. I'm going to guess that we are going to get a scene where it's revealed that Tom Cruise's Iron Man has managed to get into the standard Marvel Cinematic Universe, and they're going to frame him as the MCU's new Doctor Doom. That is based on nothing. I just feel like,
Oh, you want to get reckless with it, huh?
why the fuck not?
This whole movie and all of the story building up to this has been a backdoor pilot, so to speak, for Nicolas Cage passing the mantle of the Ghost Rider onto a new host. And the end of this movie is the introduction of the new Ghost Rider and the setup for the new Ghost Rider movie. I'm calling it now. That's my shot. Fuck the mutants. Fuck all that. It's all a hoax. It's just to set up Ghost Rider. Nicolas Cage is a mentor. We get a whole, it's going to be the sequel for Unbearable Weight. And it's just going to be Nick Cage as Ghost Rider, helping another Ghost Rider. And it's going to be awesome. They're going to have a great time. Sam Elliott's there. Man, I can't wait for Ghost Rider in the MCU.
Dude, let's go watch Ghost Rider.
Dude, I'm going to watch Ghost Rider right now. I'm definitely going to watch Ghost Rider right now.